What's up, YouTube? Back again with another review. This time we're talking about Justice League War World. I loved the concept of this idea for the movie, where you have three varying stories that come together, in the end. I knew that that's what it was gonna be the moment I saw Wonder Woman in the Old West, like that one Justice League TV series episode where you see all the Justice League members pretty much back in the Old West. And it's like they don't remember who they are. So because of that, sorry, there's an airplane passing by, but because of that, they are different. Like they're more aggressive, they're more violent, Wonder Woman straight up kills people in the first third of this movie. Superman kills somebody. It was an alien. If it wasn't an alien, that motherfucker was dead. He was dead. There's the neck broke like that. He pushed that man away, and the neck broke. If he was not a white Martian, he would have been dead. But it was great as a concept, and the execution of it is actually not bad. The only real gripe I have with it, because I love the whole confusion of it, and them still adapting to their original characters by the end of it, despite them even not knowing what is going on still, and not knowing who they are still. It was great to see them still be who they are, but my only gripe with this movie is the whole cliffhanger ending. The cliffhanger ending, listen, this is a problem now. This is why it's a problem in Hollywood. Why are we having cliffhanger endings? Like, this is a series. Like, just because Marvel was able to successfully do a series type episode with movies, with their first phase of 1 to 3, I believe it was, and a little bit of 4 as well, actually. But just because they were successful in doing that doesn't mean you can treat every movie like it's an episode to a series. Like, it's getting old. It's getting old, Hollywood. It's getting old. Just like it's getting old that you guys just kept on remaking shit for the past, 5 years. Like, it's getting old. Allow some fresh blood to come in. Create some original stories. Some interesting stories. But this feels like it was a bit of the old and the new mixed in there. And at the end of the day, the old won out because they had the whole cliffhanger ending. And it's like, I saw that cliffhanger ending and I was just like, come on, man, this is boring. Like, I was hoping that the movie was going to go on for another 20, maybe 30 minutes. I would have been fine with that if it was 2.5 hours long and you give me a conclusion at the end of it. Rather than it being damn near 2 hours long and I don't have a conclusion. Now I have to wait for a conclusion. And with everything that's happening in Hollywood right now, with the writer's strike, the actors are about to go on, they are on strike. Writers, actors, who's next? The producers? Who's next? The thing is, look, give us a succinct story, like a whole story that is just beginning to end. We have a beginning, we have an end. When I went to film school, That's what I was taught. That's what's important in a story. You have the beginning, middle, and end. Right now, all we have is the beginning and middle. We don't have an end. You left it at a stupid... It was a stupid cliffhanger. It was, for this one especially. The other movies that have left in cliffhangers is somewhat workable. Somewhat workable. But this was just... It came out of nowhere. Like, it was just like... Wait, what? We have so much left to... Wait, what? It was just, we have so much left to conclude with this storyline. And you gave us absolutely zero at the end of this storyline that you are telling. At the end of this sequence, we were left with nothing that was interesting. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Why can't you complete your story? Why do you think that leaving a cliffhanger at the end of a movie where we might have to wait a year or 2 years before, or even more maybe, before we can see the conclusion? This is not a series. This is not a series. Okay? It's not like we're waiting 5 or 6 months for the new season to start. Maybe it is. I don't know. I haven't looked to see if the next part is coming out soon or not. But I don't think so. I don't think so. Not with everything that's going on. Like, we have major movies being canceled. Major movies being delayed. And you think it's a good idea at this point in time. You know what? The thing is, I think the decision was made prior to the strikes happening. That's the writer's strike and the actor's strike, right? I think this was made prior to that happening. Because that's the only way I can make sense of it. Because other than that, it doesn't make any sense. Like, if you knew the writer's strike was about to happen, and you decided that, no, we'll keep the story how it is. We'll leave it at a cliffhanger. Bro, this is not, it's not it. Anyway, I've gone on for like maybe 4 minutes just about the ending. But, y'all, listen. The first half of this movie, even into the last act of this movie, even the last act of this movie was actually good. I actually enjoyed it. I loved the idea of seeing them coming to realization of who they are. But we never have the reveal of them being like, oh, I know who I am. I'm Batman. I'm Wonder Woman. I'm Superman. Like, it didn't happen that way. I didn't have that conclusion. It felt still like they were doing what they do because they are who they are, but they don't know who they are. So it felt incomplete. And then you had the cliffhanger, and it was just like, that's not a cliffhanger, actually. That's just stupid. You literally just ended it on purpose so that you can try and have a part 1, part 2 type situation. Give us a once and for all. Give us the story. Overall, I would give this movie 7 out of 10. I'd give this movie a 7 out of 10. Because overall, I like the concept of it. I knew that that's what was going to happen. And I was intrigued to see how they would bring all that together. And until literally the last 5 minutes or less of this movie, I was on board. I was like, this is good. Oh, I like this. I want to see how it concludes. 5 minutes later, they're all standing as the trio as the Trinity, and it cuts to black, and I'm like, oh, come on, man, we don't know, like, anyway, this is a 7 out of 10 for me. Overall, it was a decent movie, but they had a lot that they needed to actually like properly do. If you wanted this to be a part 1, part 2, guess what? You would have jumped the game. You would have been ahead of the game if you had actually ended part 1 with an ending. Like, you would have been ahead of the game if you had ended part 1 with an ending and then started part 2 as its own story. You would have been ahead of the game, because that's probably what's going to happen next. Next, we're going to get succinct stories. Hopefully. It's not going to be through Hollywood. If Hollywood is going the way that I think that it's going, like right now, it's just not looking good for a lot of us out here trying to be a part of this industry, you know. But at the end of the day, I like this movie. I think it could have done better. Instead of trying to fall for the tropes, and that could be any number of reasons, from the actual studio to producers within the studio to anything that caused it to have this ending. But aside from the ending, this was a good movie. I liked seeing Wonder Woman being the version that she was in the varying segments of the story. In the first one, she was straight up just not about the bullshit. She was like, I'm not, no. She was straight up killing people. She headshotted this motherfucker. Straight up just turned around, clack, clack, pow, headshotted him. Second version of her is a lot more tame, you know, and then the final version of her was starting to come to the Wonder Woman that we grew up with and knew and loved. The same thing with Superman, seeing the two versions of him, and Batman, seeing Batman without his morality, without that concept of who I am as who I became because of the tragedy I faced, and having him be somebody that's willing to just betray, you know, backside. I love that. Because without those memories of who you are, who can you become? And that was a concept I felt like they were trying to develop in the story, and it was freaking fantastic. And I love seeing the cop version of him, where to the point where he pulls the gun out and he's like, funny. Like, I just don't feel comfortable. With this in my hand. And he just tosses it. It was fantastic seeing these versions of these characters without their morality that we know them to have. And, you know, having to develop a new sense of identity. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. You know, and I hope that they are able to keep, like, I really hope that they're able to keep this energy with the next couple movies that they're going to do, because this is a part 1 and a part 2 clarity. So hopefully it's gonna be great to see how they conclude it, you know. And I hope that I don't feel jaded about it, because I like this story. I really do. It's just literally like the last like 5 minutes, 3 minutes of this movie that I'm just like, why did you do that? Right when it was ending and it was the cliffhanger and it's like, boom, cut to black. And I was like, oh my. It's getting old, Hollywood. It's getting old. Allow some fresh blood into the system. We'll flush it out. We'll give you an ending to a story. We'll give you new ideas. We'll give you what you want. But so long as you're not allowing new bloods to come in and you're trying to screw everybody else that's already a part of the system, we're going to be at where we are right now, which is tragic. Which is tragic because storytelling is the history of humanity. Whatever form it comes in. True stories, fictional stories, non-fictional stories. That is our history. We're storytellers. As a species, we're storytellers. If we can't tell a story, what's the point? I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys tell stories every day. Oh man, yo, this happened to me today. Oh man, yo, that happened to me the other day. I was wanting to tell somebody about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're storytellers. And I hope that this is a lesson that Hollywood is going to be able to learn, adapt with, and conform to. Because we need our stories. If it's not through Hollywood, it's going to be through someone else. You know, if Hollywood falls and fails and everything goes black, guess what? That means that we're going back to how Hollywood was before it became Hollywood. Let's hope that that's the case. Either way, these kind of stories deserve the right kind of attention, love, and dedication placed upon their idealizations. Let's hope that things get better for us all. Let's hope that they tell the stories that we want to hear, because this was a start. This was a start, but it could have been better. But I loved it for what it was. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you want to leave a comment. If not, leave a like. And I hope to see you guys in the next one, because I'm starting off this YouTube journey. I'm pretty sure, as you can see, it's in a bit of a rough spot. I'm, doing this shit in my car. But I look forward to hearing from y'all. And I love you guys for watching me. For whatever reason, and I really hope to be able to continue this, and thank you. Just genuinely, thank you. I'll catch y'all on the next one.